There's a quote I love to use, and it says, "You deserve to be a man's priority, not just his convenience." And I'm sure many of you would agree, if not all of you, right? That's what you desire, someone who's going to prioritize you, prioritize the relationship. You want to know that you are very important to them, that they value you and hold you in high regard. And so today's video is to help you have a better understanding of when you see certain things from a man that let you know you are someone that is very important to him, that you are a priority to him. The deepest way a man shows he values you isn't through grand declarations or romantic gestures. It's through 5 specific behaviors that most women never learn to recognize. These insights come from 7 decades of living, loving, and observing how genuine regard manifests in the daily choices we make for those who matter most. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss valuable insights like these. Let's dive into the first sign that shows a man values you.
He makes you his emotional safe harbor. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." But I've discovered that men who truly value someone create a unique space where that person can exist without pretense, without performance, without the exhausting effort of being anything other than authentically themselves. He's no longer just a partner who shares the good times and casual conversation. He becomes someone who trusts you with his vulnerabilities, his fears, and the parts of himself he might keep hidden from the world. When a man opens up to you about his deepest struggles, whether it's work stress, family concerns, or past emotional scars, it's a clear sign that he sees you as a safe place where his emotions can be held without judgment. This is not just about the ability to talk through problems, it's about creating an emotional environment where he feels he can be himself fully, without fear of rejection or ridicule. He feels accepted for who he truly is, not just for the roles he plays in your life or the world's eyes. In healthy relationships, emotional safety is key. It means that he knows you won't use his vulnerabilities against him, that you will listen with empathy and understanding. His willingness to be emotionally vulnerable with you shows immense respect for the bond you share. It's not a sign of weakness. In fact, it takes strength and trust to allow someone into your inner world. When a man makes you his emotional safe harbor, he's giving you a part of himself that he likely doesn't share with anyone else. This is the profound truth about how men express the highest value. They offer you their unguarded self. Research from Dr. Brené Brown shows that vulnerability is the cornerstone of meaningful connection. But for men, choosing to be vulnerable requires tremendous trust. When a man consistently brings you his worries, his doubts, his unpolished thoughts, he's showing you that he considers you safe enough to handle his authentic emotional landscape. The man who values you most won't just share his successes and strengths. He'll trust you with his uncertainties and fears. He'll speak to you in ways he doesn't speak to anyone else, revealing layers of himself that others never see. So, how can you create this emotional safe harbor for him? Create a non-judgmental space. Ensure that he knows he can speak openly without fear of criticism or rejection. Listen to him with empathy and make him feel understood. Encourage emotional openness by showing your own vulnerability. When he sees that you're willing to be open with him, he'll feel more comfortable sharing his own fears and doubts. Be consistent in your support. Show up when he's struggling, not just when things are going well. This will demonstrate that you're committed to standing by him during both the good and the tough times. Respect his process. Give him time and space when he needs it. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to simply be present, offering support without rushing him to talk or fix things. Have you experienced this kind of emotional transparency from someone in your life? This deep trust creates the foundation for something even more profound about how he processes your influence.
Number 2, your voice becomes his inner compass. Your perspective doesn't just matter to him, it becomes part of how he navigates the world. My neighbor Thomas, before he met Patricia, he made decisions based purely on logic, practicality, and personal benefit. But over the 3 years they've been together, I've watched Thomas begin to consider questions he'd never asked himself. What would Patricia think about this? How would this decision affect not just me, but the kind of man she sees me as? Patricia shared with me a perfect example. Thomas was offered an opportunity to consult for his former bank. Excellent money, minimal work. Old Thomas would have accepted immediately. But this Thomas asked me, "Patricia, do you think taking easy money for minimal contribution aligns with the values we've talked about?" He wasn't asking permission, he was using my voice as a moral compass. This reveals something profound about male psychology. When a man truly values you, your opinions don't just influence his decisions, they become part of his internal decision-making process. But what I've observed goes deeper. The man who values you most will internalize your wisdom and carry it with him even when you're not present. This isn't about control or dependency, it's about integration. Your values, your insights, your way of seeing the world become woven into his own moral fabric. This happens in a way that deeply influences his thinking and the decisions he makes without you needing to force it. It's when your words and wisdom subtly become a part of his inner dialogue. He begins to quote you in conversations with others, not because he's trying to impress, but because your perspective has shaped the way he now sees the world. He references your advice when facing challenges, showing that he not only values your opinion, but has internalized it in a way that impacts his choices. And in moments of uncertainty or difficulty, he finds himself asking, "What would she say? What would she do?" This indicates a profound connection where your influence has become part of the emotional foundation he builds his decisions on. This kind of integration isn't about dependency, it's about respect, admiration, and the blending of two minds that grows stronger together. His values, now enriched by yours, create a deeper, more meaningful bond where both partners contribute equally to each other's growth. Have you ever noticed how your perspective shapes the decisions of the men around you? How do you express your values in your relationships? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your experiences. To become his inner compass, it's essential to speak with purpose and share your perspectives consistently, not by forcing them upon him, but through sincerity and respect. Instead of merely giving advice, encourage him to reflect deeply on his decisions by asking open-ended questions like, "Do you think this aligns with the person you want to become?" This helps him think critically and reassess his choices in life. Additionally, you need to create a supportive space, not to control, but to allow him to turn to you when he needs to share and seek feedback comfortably. The goal is to guide him towards self-reflection and wise decision-making, fostering mutual respect and encouraging personal growth for both of you. Now that we've explored how your voice becomes his inner compass, let's dive into the next powerful way you can strengthen your bond and influence his decisions in a relationship. Number 3, the priority realignment. Here's where I need to share something that took me decades to understand about my own heart. I've learned that when a man truly values someone, he unconsciously begins reorganizing his entire life around what serves their shared happiness, rather than just his individual preferences. 30 years ago, I was a creature of rigid habits. Saturday mornings were for my workshop, Sunday afternoons for football, weekday evenings for reading alone in my study. I thought these routines were essential to my identity. But then Martha became central to my life, and something shifted without my even noticing it at first. I found myself asking different questions. Would Martha enjoy coming to the hardware store with me, or should I go when she's busy with her quilting? Is my workshop time more important than sitting on the porch together, watching the sunset? What if I moved my reading to the living room, so we could be in the same space, even if we're doing different things? The remarkable thing was that these weren't sacrifices, they felt like discoveries. I was discovering that my happiness had become inseparably connected to our shared contentment. Initially, a man may have certain priorities: career, hobbies, friendships, or personal goals. But as his connection with you deepens, he begins to realize that true fulfillment comes not just from external accomplishments, but from the emotional depth and bond he shares with you. Instead of putting work or social activities ahead of the relationship, he begins to prioritize quality time with you and the growth of your connection. He may still have his ambitions and responsibilities, but you become his partner in both dreams and daily life. And he understands that maintaining your bond is just as important as any career goal or personal pursuit. This shift is often subtle, but it speaks volumes about how he views the relationship. The man who truly values you will rearrange his life to make space for you. This doesn't mean he loses his independence or stops pursuing his goals. It means he's now willing to share his journey with you and make decisions with you in mind. It's about finding a balance where you're an integral part of his life, and he's willing to make adjustments to ensure you both grow together. His actions will reflect this shift, from being available to you when needed to actively seeking ways to spend time and create meaningful moments with you. So far, we've seen how deep value expresses itself through emotional vulnerability and moral integration. Now we see how it manifests in life reorganization. Not dramatic changes, but subtle realignments that prioritize shared joy over solitary preference. The man who values you most doesn't just make room for you in his life. He begins to see his life as incomplete without your presence and happiness at its center. This shift isn't just about what he chooses to prioritize, but about the deeper emotional and psychological alignment that comes with it. How does this reorganization influence his behavior in the relationship itself?
Number 4. He protects your peace above his convenience. I've discovered that men who truly value someone become fierce guardians of that person's emotional tranquility, often at the cost of their own immediate comfort. They become protectors of your emotional sanctuary, Research from Dr. Sue Johnson on attachment shows that in secure relationships, partners actively work to minimize each other's distress. But what I've observed in mature men goes beyond this. It becomes instinctual. The man who values you most will be acutely aware of the things that disturb your peace, whether it's external stressors or the small tensions in daily life. He won't just ignore these things or expect you to carry the weight of them. Instead, he will quietly and consistently work to minimize those disturbances, ensuring that your emotional well-being is protected. For instance, he won't make you responsible for managing his stress if he feels it's something he can handle on his own. He'll take the necessary steps to resolve his own challenges without dumping them on you. If there's something difficult that needs to be addressed, he'll wait for the right moment, timing hard conversations for when you're emotionally prepared, so the discussion doesn't feel overwhelming. His actions reflect a deep understanding of your emotional state, and he works tirelessly to create buffer zones around your serenity. These aren't just grand gestures, but the subtle, everyday acts that prioritize your peace. For instance, he might step in to help with practical matters when he senses you're feeling overwhelmed, like taking care of tasks that would normally fall on you, or handling situations that could add unnecessary stress. It could also mean he offers reassurance, whether through comforting words or simply reminding you that you're supported, especially during times of doubt or anxiety. Even more, sometimes it's about giving you the space you need. He understands when you need a moment to breathe, to gather your thoughts, or simply to recharge. Instead of pushing for your attention or demanding that you engage, he allows you the time to regain your emotional balance without guilt. This protective instinct reveals itself in countless small ways. He handles the difficult customer service call instead of asking you to do it. He deals with family conflict rather than bringing it to your dinner table. He processes his own bad days before sharing them, so his emotions support rather than burden you. Have you noticed similar behaviors in your relationship? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like it and share it with someone who might benefit from these insights. And while this deep respect for your peace is fundamental, we have another crucial aspect of how a man shows he values you.
Number 5. He invests in your growth without expecting returns. When a man truly values you, he recognizes that your happiness, success, and growth are important, not just for the relationship, but for your individual fulfillment. He supports your dreams, whether it's furthering your education, pursuing a career goal, or nurturing a passion. He doesn't see your achievements as a reflection of his own, but as a celebration of your unique strengths and abilities. This investment goes beyond material or financial support. It's about emotional encouragement, thoughtful advice, and being your number one cheerleader when you step out of your comfort zone. He's there to lift you up when you feel uncertain or insecure, reminding you of your strengths and encouraging you to keep going, especially when you face challenges. This is not about him trying to fix things for you, but rather giving you the confidence to take risks and pursue what truly excites you. He offers thoughtful advice, not to control, but to guide you when needed. He listens to your aspirations, offers suggestions when asked, and helps you see potential in yourself that you might not have recognized. His advice comes from a place of care and respect, not because he's trying to influence your decisions, but because he wants to help you find clarity and navigate your journey with confidence.
This final behavior is the most profound because it reveals not just attraction or even deep affection, but genuine love in its most selfless form. The man who values you most will notice your unused talents and encourage their development. He'll support your dreams even when they require time and resources that could benefit him instead. He'll celebrate your achievements without needing them to reflect on him. He'll want you to become the fullest version of yourself, even if that version is more independent, more confident, more capable of thriving without him. What makes this investment so special is that there are no strings attached. He doesn't expect to gain anything in return. His happiness is rooted in seeing you happy and fulfilled. Whether you succeed or fail, he's there, offering unconditional support without any expectation of a direct reward. This selflessness creates a foundation of trust, where both partners can feel safe and supported, knowing they are each valued for who they are, not what they can give in return. This isn't just generosity, it's the deepest form of love, wanting someone's highest good, even when it costs you something precious. As I reflect on these 5 behaviors, making you his emotional safe harbor, letting your voice become his inner compass, realigning his priorities around shared happiness, protecting your peace above his convenience, and investing in your growth without expecting returns, I'm struck by a profound truth. They all reveal that you've become essential to his definition of a meaningful life. The emotional vulnerability shows you've earned his deepest trust. The moral integration proves your wisdom has become part of his character. The priority realignment demonstrates that your happiness has become inseparable from his own. The protection of your peace reveals that your well-being matters more to him than his immediate comfort. And his investment in your growth shows that your flourishing has become one of his highest purposes. At our age, we've learned to distinguish between the dramatic gestures of early romance and the steady devotion of mature love. We understand that when a man consistently demonstrates these behaviors, he's not just attracted to you or even deeply fond of you. He has woven you into the fabric of who he is and who he wants to become. The man who shows these signs may never deliver a flowery speech about your importance to him. He may never write poetry about his feelings. But he's demonstrating something far more valuable. Through his daily choices, his quiet sacrifices, and his consistent investment in your well-being, he's proving that you have become irreplaceably precious to him. If you recognize these patterns in someone in your life, understand that you're witnessing not just affection, but reverence. Not just love, but the highest form of human regard, the recognition that another person's happiness and growth have become essential to your own sense of meaning and purpose. Thank you for joining me in these observations. I'd love to hear about times you've recognized these quiet expressions of deep value in your own relationships. Share your stories in the comments below. Be sure to give it a like, share it with someone who might benefit, and subscribe to the channel for more insights like these. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Until next time, may you recognize the quiet symphony of ways you are cherished, and may you appreciate the beautiful complexity of how mature hearts express their deepest regard. And I'm Vernon. Thanks for watching my video.